My name is Inquisitor Valdris Crane, Ordo Hereticus. Rosette number 774, issued by the Conclave of Nothoi, confirmed by the Holy Ordos 41 years ago. I tell you my name because I am no longer certain I have the right to it. What I am about to confess has never been recorded in any inquisitorial archive. I have made sure of that. If you are hearing this, it is because I decided, finally, that the silence was its own kind of corruption. So, my name is Valdris Crane. I was the most effective heretic hunter in 3 sectors for 31 years. I purged cults, burned covens, broke warbands, and delivered 17 confirmed heresiarchs to the black ships. I was good at the work because I understood the enemy. I understood how they thought, what they wanted, what made ordinary people abandon the Emperor's light for something darker and more honest about what it offered. I understood it so well that my interrogator once told me, joking, or so she believed, that the only reason I hadn't turned was that I hadn't found the right offer yet. I laughed. She laughed. We moved on. I am not laughing now. Because 10 years ago, on a world called Vethara's Landing, I found the right offer. And here is what I need you to understand before I tell you what happened next. I didn't take it. I want that on record. I did not take it, but I understood it. Completely, fully, in every detail. And understanding it changed something in me that has not changed back. That is what this confession is about, not the fall, the understanding. And why understanding, in the end, may be worse. Every cult I had ever broken followed a recognizable pattern. A leader who wanted power. Followers who wanted belonging, or relief from suffering, or the specific comfort of believing that their pain had a cosmic author who could be bargained with. The dark powers offer real things. That is what the Ordos do not teach their interrogators clearly enough. And it is the first thing I always made sure my staff understood. Chaos offers real power, real community, real answers to real suffering. The lie is not in what it offers, the lie is in what it costs. The cult on Vethara's Landing was different. Not in what it worshipped, a fragment of something ancient, free imperial, something that the librarian classified as proto-heretical rather than actively chaos-aligned. Different in who its members were. I expected the desperate, the broken, the hungry. I found Medicaid workers, administrators, a retired PDF commander, a Schola Progenium teacher, people who had, by any imperial metric, functional lives. People who had everything the Imperium offers its compliant citizens and had decided, quietly and collectively, that it was not enough. Not because they wanted power, because they wanted the truth. The cult's central doctrine, I read every text we recovered, was that the Imperium is built on a lie of omission. Not a false emperor, not a corrupt institution, not a conspiracy. Simply that the Imperium tells its citizens what it needs them to believe in order to function, and withholds what it needs them not to know. I had broken cults for 31 years. I had never read a doctrine I could not immediately refute. I read theirs 3 times. I put it down and I went for a walk that lasted for hours. When I came back I told my interrogator we needed more time before the purge. She looked at me the way you look at someone who has said something that doesn't quite fit. I ignored it. I went back to the texts. I interviewed the cult leader alone. No interrogator, no scribe, no record. I told myself this was standard practice, that a heresiarch will speak more freely without witnesses. This was true. It was not my only reason. Her name was Solen Vraith. She was 63 years old. She had been a senior administrative logistics coordinator for 30 years before she left her post to found the cult. She was not charismatic in the conventional sense, no fire, no magnetism, none of the performed conviction I had seen in dozens of heresiarchs. She was simply precise. She spoke the way a person speaks when they have thought about something for a very long time and arrived at conclusions they are no longer afraid of. She said, "Inquisitor Crane, I know what you are going to do. I am not asking you not to do it. I am asking you to answer one question honestly before you do." She asked me whether I had ever encountered, in 40 years of service, a single piece of evidence that the Imperium's foundational claims about the Emperor's nature were demonstrably, verifiably true, rather than asserted, enforced, and punished if doubted. I said, "The acts of faith, the miracles." "The Astronomicon," she nodded. She said, "Yes, those are evidence of a powerful psychic presence on Terra. They are not evidence of the specific theological claims made about that presence. There is a difference. I know you know there is a difference. I sat in that room for a long time after that. I am still, in some sense, sitting in that room, because she was right about the difference, and I did not have an answer for it. And Inquisitor Valdris Crane, 41 years in the Holy Ordos, Rosette 774, I had never not had an answer. I ordered the purge. I want to be completely clear about that. I ordered it, I supervised it, and I signed the after-action record with my full name and Rosette number. The cult was dissolved. Its members were processed according to standard inquisitorial protocol. Solen Vraith was executed cleanly, as I always ensure. I do not believe in suffering as punishment, whatever the texts suggest. I did my job, completely, correctly. By every metric the Holy Ordos would apply to that operation, Inquisitor Valdris Crane performed with full professionalism on Vethara's landing. What I cannot enter into any official record is what happened in my mind during the 14 days between that interrogation and the purge. I went back to the texts every night. I read them the way a heretic reads them, not looking for the flaw, but following the argument to see where it leads. I found where it leads. And then I burned the texts in my cabin furnace and I carried out the purge, and I have spent the 10 years since being the same Inquisitor I was before Vethara's landing in every external respect. Same methods, same outcomes, same productivity. The Conclave has no complaints. My interrogator has been promoted and has her own Rosette now. Everything is functionally unchanged, except this. I can no longer, in good conscience, claim that I know the difference between an Inquisitor who has not fallen and a heretic who has learned to hide perfectly. I used to know that difference. I built my career on knowing it. I do not know it anymore. And that, Ordos, is why I am making this confession. Not because I have turned, because I have understood. And I need someone to tell me, is there a difference? I am still an Inquisitor. I want you to sit with that for a moment. Inquisitor Valdris Crane, the man who just told you everything I have told you, is still active, still Rosette bearing, still conducting operations in 3 sectors, as of this recording. I have not defected. I have not turned. I have not made any contact with any heretical organization since Vethara's landing. I have, if anything, become more effective, because I now understand the enemy the way the enemy understands itself, not as a corruption, not as a failure, not as weakness giving way to temptation. As a conclusion, the specific, logical, painful conclusion that some people reach when they follow the truth far enough. I purge them anyway. I want that on record too. Understanding them does not make me spare them. The Imperium requires what it requires, and I serve what the Imperium requires, because the alternative, the shapeless dark the rogue trader told you about, the world without the structure that belief provides, is worse than the lie the cult said we were living in. I know that. I have made my peace with it. What I have not made peace with is the question Solen Vraith asked me in that room. I have thought about it every day for 10 years. I will think about it every day until I die or am rightfully purged by a colleague who hears this confession and draws the correct conclusions. If that colleague is you, do your job. I would. And if that colleague is not you, then subscribe, because I have more to say. And the Imperium has more secrets than one Inquisitor can confess in 5 minutes. Inquisitor Valdris Crane is still out there. Still Rosette bearing. Still asking whether there is a difference. If you have an answer, drop it in the comments. He is listening. Every week in this series, someone who serves the Imperium confesses something the Imperium was not built to hear. Subscribe, like, comment and share, because the next confession is already sealed and waiting. And unlike Crane, it has not burned the evidence yet.